a real life.
I was going to say.
I ain't cooking nothing, but go ahead.
You know, just, I put my wings in there, give them a little more crispy. Okay, but now for the folks that can't afford the air fryers are already expensive. It is going up.
Yeah. Listen, I appreciate Bobby because honestly, a lot of the things that I am trying to bring to the forefront for the American people, they really are not partisan things, or they should not be partisan things. This is about right versus wrong, and it's about harm versus help. And so basically what I'm trying to let people know is that, listen, the Democrats, you know, you give us a little something and we will do our part to hopefully at least stop the harm. But right now, people are being harmed no matter who you voted for and no matter how you affiliate yourself. And it's important, and I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate Jacob going out, because it's important that we tell those stories and let them know that, guess what, MAGA or not, you are still being impacted detrimentally by this administration and their policies. Now, it's interesting because just today, I had the national realtors that came by to see me from all over the country. And most people don't understand, like, what all goes into housing. They just complain and say, listen, the housing is too high. Well, there's a lot of things that go into why our housing is so high. And frankly, we can't just come up with one piece of legislation to fix that, right? But just imagine what happens when things like steel go up, right? We're talking about condos, we're talking about homes, we're talking about these things, and it's like now the steel is more expensive. So do you think your house is going to get cheaper anytime soon? Not really. And not to mention, this is ruining a relationship that we have with our friends up north. People aren't necessarily specifically addressing it, but Canada is where we get the vast majority of our steel from. We get a lot of steel and lumber from Canada. But guess what? We actually may be in a situation where they play with us too, because we take a lot of their energy as well. So some people may not have energy one day when they wake up.
That's true. Well, I mean, particularly in a lot of the northwestern states, the midwestern states closer to the Canadian border, they do share that electric grid with Canada. And the Canadians have already indicated, if you want to play this game, we can play too. I think both you and Bobby, though, make a very important point that was laid out in the CBO report, which, by the way, the Congressional Budget Office for Republicans, you know that you know, that's the House. So those numbers come from the House. It's not like Democrats are just making them up. But they noted the changes in tariffs will reduce the size of the U.S. economy. Inflation will increase by an annual average of 0.4 of a percentage point in 2025 and 2026, in CBO's estimation, reducing the purchasing power of households and businesses. So to Bobby there in his warehouse, and to the moms and the dads and the families in your district, this is real. And what the administration is doing by sort of blindly saying or inferring that somehow this is going to be a way of owning the libs, or somehow, you know, this is going to punish Democrats more than it's going to punish Republicans, it's just utter BS. The real thing is what Bobby said, as a guy who supports the president.
I think it's important that what we're seeing is that the internal civil war, the family fight, is coming out into the public, right? You know, Bobby was still very nice about everything that he had to say, and felt like it was okay to disagree. And a lot of times we sit there and are like, hello, are y'all paying attention? Because, like, this is impacting y'all too. Like, say something, right? And so now that there's, like, the family infighting, we see, you know, even Elon Musk, honey, he can't get out of the Twitter, right? Like, he is talking about the bill and trying to take the bill and telling people, call your senators and make sure you take this bill down. And listen, I never thought there would be a day that I would agree with Elon on anything. But that's where we are, where people are finally starting to say, you know what, this is actually impacting me a little too much. I'm gonna have to speak up and speak out against this. But my issue is this: all of y'all voted for this so that it would hurt somebody else. The problem was you got upset when you found out that, oh shoot, it can hurt me too. And honestly, it's ingrained in who Democrats are, is that we actually care and we love and we want to take care of everybody. And that's why we got this big tent party and we all over the place. But I will tell you that compassion is something that we are missing in Congress. Like, caring is something that we are missing in politics in general. And that's the only way you can justify a senator going out there and saying, well, everybody gonna die, and then decide that you're gonna do your apology, not so much an apology, in what looked like a graveyard. I'm like, listen, ain't nobody elect you to be anybody's grave digger. They elected you to do everything that you can to make sure that their lives are flourishing and getting better and that they were living as long as they could.
That's part of the job. Part of the job is also in your current position, watching what this administration is doing and making sure that they are accountable. You recently threw your hat in the ring to be ranking member on the House Oversight Committee, saying in your Dear Colleague letter, Americans are demanding a more strategic, aggressive, and energetic fight. What do you think that fight should look like? I think particularly.
No, I think it looks like a lot of things. Listen, here's the deal. We as Democrats can sit there and say, oh, you know what? He violating the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution. And the average person's like, say what now? What are you talking about, right? So, number one, I think that we have to deal with that and explain to people why it is so bad, because he will go out there and say, yo, me getting a free plane from the Qataris, like, that just means that, you know what, we don't have to spend this money on a plane, right? Like, he can explain it to people that don't understand why we have these rules and why the Constitution was looking out for us. So it's a matter of bringing that in, having a hearing, and then making sure that we translate it and we amplify it. It's not big enough just to go on TV. Love y'all, appreciate y'all, but like communications has to be a full-on kind of strategy. And that is something that I've worked really hard to do, because I want to make sure that I'm not just screaming into a vacuum. I also want to make sure that we're amplifying the voices. We've got so much amazing talent that's on that committee, but we need a leader that literally can lift up the entire team so that people say, you know what, we actually starting to believe in the Democrats. There's more than just one or two of them that are fighting. But also I think that we just got to be real and we got to go hard, right? Like, there's only one person Donald Trump does not want in that seat. It is me. Like, point blank, period. And same thing with a Republican colleague out of North Carolina that was like, I'm fearful because I'm not going to hold back. Now, listen, this doesn't mean that I plan to be partisan in any way, but as a trained trial attorney, we're going to follow these facts. We're going to follow the evidence, and we are going to make it plain. I also think that we can't just say, well, we're in the minority, so we can't do anything. I don't believe in that rhetoric. I believe in fighting, and that's exactly what I've been doing. So, like, does this mean that we take the fight to their backyard? Absolutely, because those people may not be tuning in. So allowing me to go and do shadow hearings on the road where I'm going into Republican districts, and the people that are testifying are the people that have been impacted, whether they lost their jobs or whether they lost funding for Meals on Wheels or whatever it is, to tell their story so that their neighbors can hear them. And then they will know that we are listening, and we are not here just because it's election time. We are here because we actually want to heal this country.
In the time that we have left, to follow up on this, the last time this seat was open and there was a race within the Democratic caucus for this particular seat, former leadership weighed in, and members weighed in to say that we don't want that person, we want this person. Do you have a sense now that the leadership maybe is going to take a different tact, or former leadership might also take a different tact?
Listen, you trying to beat around the bush. Everybody at home know what you're talking about.
Nancy Pelosi weighed in, and she said, not that person, I want this person. Do you think she's going to weigh in this time? If so, is she weighing in for you?
I don't think she's going to weigh in at all. There is someone from California that is running, so if she does weigh in, I would imagine it may end up being a delegation person. But as a woman who became speaker, I think that there is something powerful. I am the only woman that is in this race. Not to say that that is like an end-all, be-all, but I think that she understands the challenges of what it is to rise through the ranks, even beyond kind of you having the qualifications and you being able to show the bona fides. You know, there's numbers that I mentioned in my letter for a reason. Like, you talk about your numbers because they're strong, right? Like, it's not really normal for a freshman to raise over $4 million for DCCC. It's not really normal for a sophomore black woman in a safe Democratic seat to raise $1.7 million and become the 7th highest fundraising Democrat in Q1. Like, these are not, you know, or for a sophomore to have traveled to done over 100 events on behalf of other people. So what I'm trying to do is let everybody know that I'm a team player, and that's exactly what I hope, comes across. I don't anticipate, though, that the former speaker is weighing in. I've been talking to people while my letter just went out. I have been talking to people, and I did not get a sense that the former speaker had weighed in. I will tell you, though, that seniority is a thing that, Alex mentioned when she said she wasn't going to run again. I think, it's hard for certain people who have come up through this system to then say, you know what, I'm going to let it go. And it's been important for me to tell people that, Listen, if we just had a halfway normal person in the White House, I wouldn't be running because I really do respect seniority, especially because of the history of it, especially for like the Black caucus. But at the same time, if we don't meet this moment, I think that we're going to continue to see our numbers plummet. I think we're going to continue to lose a lot of our support. And I think that when we talk about diversity, as much as we do on our side of the aisle, that even means in our leadership. And so diversity comes from all different ways. And so we've done a lot of seniority kind of votes. I'm hoping that we can break the norm, at least in this particular race, and give someone a shot who really just wants to help our team.
A mentor told me just the other day, you can't just want to meet the moment, you have to want the moment. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas, thank you very much.
Good to see y'all.
We'll be right back, folks, with some breaking news. Stay tuned to The Weeknight.
Look out.